Hi, everyone. Sorry about the little technical interference that we had, or a little technical difficulty. I got pretty far on my t-shirt here while we were dealing with that. And we were talking about some different facts about how much trash, how much textile trash, clothing trash gets sent to the landfill every year by each person. We were saying that it was about 80 pounds. Now, when I was talking to you about that, I was just starting to tie the ties of the fringe together on my shirt. And if you're following along with me, I want to point out that we'll definitely want to take the fringe, some from the front of the shirt and the back, and tie those together. We're not tying together the fringe that are side by side like this, right? That would not hold the bottom of our tote together. Instead, we want to take one from the front and one from the back. And if you cut them together at the same time, they should have lined up pretty evenly. And I'm tying it double knotted because I want the bottom of my tote bag to hold together really, really strong. So I'm going to double knot. I'm going to tie it once and I'm going to tie it twice. So I'm going to tie it really good, and I'm going to keep going all the way down the bottom of my shirt until everything is tied together. Okay. And as I finish to do this one, I'll share with you that there is just so much, all those big crazy numbers of how much waste from clothing being thrown away is ending up in those holes in the ground, those landfills, that we could probably figure out other ways, other things to do with our discarded clothing, our clothing that's now trash, other than throw them in the landfill. And that's where something like this comes in. So we could donate our clothes, right? We could borrow clothes or get them from an older sibling or an older cousin. Family. That's really, really cool thing that friends and families do for each other. They share clothing together. So that way they're not only being wasteful, but they're also helping each other out and saving money. And that's all around a good thing, right? As you go, you can recycle them, take them to the recycling facility. So they'll grind up this material and literally make a brand new shirt or new clothing out of it. Or you can do what we did. We can repurpose it, basically take that t-shirt and turn it in to something completely different. Now it's not a shirt anymore. It is a tote bag. And that's because we tied off the bottom of our bag. And you can see I've got some really cute fringe from those knots that I tied at the bottom hanging down. It makes for a really stylish and cute look, which I like about it. But if you're the kind of person who doesn't like these extra things kind of hanging down, before you tie your knots, you could turn your shirt inside out. And if you did that, then you wouldn't end up with any fringes hanging down. So it'll be nice and clean bottom, like the shirt that I did the other day. So you can see it's like a nice kind of closed off bottom to my bag. And there's no fringe hanging down. It's really smooth. When I'm done here, I can fill it with whatever I want to fill it with. I can put my flask that I take with me, that I put water in, and those are really great. Do any of you have any reusable bottles that you take with you when you go places so that you always have a drink and you don't have to throw away any plastic trash? Those are really cool to do. And I want to share with you now another question. This one's coming from Melanie in Miss Landis' class. And they ask, why is Earth so important? Well, that's a really good question. And first of all, it's where we live, right? But there are 7 other planets in our solar system. So if we take a look, right, we've got Mercury, Venus, and then Earth. We're right here. We're the 3rd one from the sun. And then Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And Earth is that beautiful blue-green planet. And we're really special because a lot of people call us the blue planet. We're covered with water. Not just any water, we're covered with liquid water. So we're the only planet out of the 7 in our solar system that has water in all 3 states of matter that it can be, all 3 forms. So you might be thinking, Mrs. Giovanni, what about Mars? I heard that Mars has those ice caps, those frozen parts at the top and the bottom. And you're right, but those are water only in their solid form. In order to have life on a planet, we need to have water in its liquid form as well, so that everything can have something to drink and live and be supported and healthy, right? So our planet as far as we know, is the only one that is able to support life, living things, not just humans, but plants, right? Insects, even fungus like mushrooms and other cool things that other planets just don't get, right? We're really, really cool. We get those things. So that is one reason, one of and many reasons really, why Earth is such a really cool place and why we think it's important. It's kind of like a big spaceship when you think about it, because Earth is out in outer space and it's carrying with it all the things that we need to survive, just like a regular spaceship we would think of. And everything here is important, and everything here is something that we should think about trying to protect, right? All right, so this helps us understand our next question from our other student here. We have Faith from Mr. Eric's class, and they ask, why is Earth blue and green? Hey, that's a really great question. We were just talking about how Earth is covered in water. In fact, about 75% of the Earth's surface is covered in that beautiful blue liquid ocean water. And when we're out in outer space looking back at Earth, that's why it's looking mostly blue. But you're right, there is some green in there too. And that is from all of the wonderful plants that we can find on Earth. There's so many different kinds of plants. Not all of them are green, but the ones like these ones here that can photosynthesize, they have the chlorophyll in them. They come out this beautiful bright green, and so do the leaves on the trees. And from space, we can't see each individual tree, but we know a lot of plants and trees and things are there because of all that wonderful green. You might even see some wisps of white floating around the outside of Earth. And of course, we know those are our clouds and our atmosphere. And that's a really cool thing as well. So Earth has a lot going on, doesn't it? And we have all kinds of wonderful things to learn and talk about when it comes to the beautiful blue planet, or Earth. And we want to protect it. So we can do cool projects like this to help show the world that we're interested in maintaining the health of our planet and not just throwing a bunch of trash away into the landfill. And now we've got our cute little totes, and we can put whatever we want in there, right? Like our flasks and all kinds of things. And I wanted to, if I put a bunch of potatoes in this bag, what can I call it then? A tater tote. Did you make a tater tote? Do you like potatoes? I do too. And if I wanted to put a baby goat in there, then, I could put a baby goat in there. Why would I do that? Yeah, I don't know why anybody would do that, but whatever totes your goat, right? Did you like my jokes? I brought them just for you guys. Well, we have another question, and this one is from Omar in Miss Schumacher's class. And they ask, what should we recycle? Oh, that is a really good question. And, a lot of grown-ups don't really know the answer to this because sometimes it can be confusing. And the truth is, how we recycle our different items that we're throwing away might be different depending on where we live. So what I would recommend is going to your city's website. Go there and look for the waste management part. Or you can just type in waste management in your city and see what pops up. Usually they have some really good recommendations on how you can take care of your trash so you're not just dumping in the landfill. You can figure out how to recycle and do those things as well. But normally most cities will accept cardboard, glass, aluminum, and some plastics. And you're going to want to look for that little triangle with the arrows going around to know if you can recycle that plastic or any item that you have. And that's a really helpful thing that people do in order to help people recycle, people like you, and not send things to the landfill. So you can probably think of other ways that we can repurpose things. Can you think of any? Do you know any ways that you might already be repurposing something in your own house? Something that used to be used for one thing, but now it's used for something else? Well, I actually use some old vases that I have at my house that they're really big and I don't have a plant to put in them. So I fill them up with all of my pens and markers and things. But you know what? I love projects like this. I do a lot of crafting and I have a lot of special markers too. These are some of my special fabric markers. Can you figure out what I repurposed to hold on to all of my markers? What I covered it with paper, so you might not be able to tell that this actually used to be made of a product called styrene foam. And styrene foam is kind of like plastic. It's made from petroleum, and it is not really great for the environment. In fact, each piece of styrofoam or styrene foam that you've ever seen in your entire life is still just hanging out on the planet. If these get sent to the landfill, it takes anywhere from 500 years to forever for this stuff to break down and go away. So it's not really going anywhere. And you might be wondering, Mrs. Giovanni, why do you even have that stuff? Why did you even get it in the first place? Well, I didn't know I was getting it. I bought something else and I didn't know it was going to be packed in this styrene stuff. So I figured, this stuff's not going anywhere. It's not disappearing off the face of the earth for another 500 years or so. So since it's going to be hanging around anyway, I might as well repurpose it. And I use it to stick all of my cool markers in there. And now I always have a place to put them. And my styrene is helping me out there. So I wouldn't go buy that product, but since I had it anyway, I might as well reuse it for something else. Here's another way I repurposed stuff in my house. I have some cute little tins that I got when I used to live in Hawaii. And these tins used to be filled with mints. And I ate up all the mints and I thought, these are so cute. They say Hawaii on them. They're adorable. And I can't throw them away. So I repurposed them. I glued a magnet to the back of my tin here. So now I could put it up on one of those magnetic boards and I can open them up and I put my earrings inside. So now I don't have to worry about losing track of my earrings. I have somewhere to put them and I have my cute little tins that I can keep and repurpose, reuse for something else. And that's another thing too. Since I've been talking about this stuff, have you been able to come up with any ways that you've repurposed something in your house? What have you done in your house? Maybe you can't think of anything. Maybe you haven't thought, you're thinking, I've never done that, Mrs. Giovanni. Well, guess what? It's not too late. You can start right now. Think about all the different types of things that you throw away or that you could totally use again, or maybe even repurpose into something else. This is the cool and awesome thing about being an engineer or a scientist who designs and builds things. You're always thinking, always being creative and coming up with new ways to do things that other people just haven't thought of. And all you have to do is play in your imagination. That's amazing. I love having a big imagination and coming up with lots of different ways that I can use something in a new, special, different way. And what can you think of, right? Maybe after today, you'll be looking at your trash in very different ways. Just make sure it's clean before you start repurposing and using things again. And you can be well on your way to, being an engineer or that scientist that comes up with all these other different things that you could be doing, all these different ways, right? And that's an awesome thing to do. Well, my friends, I'm very excited for you. I hope that you were able to make a cool tote bag, whether it be a tater tote or a tote your goat or whatever you're making with your tote bag. Did it turn out the way you liked it to? If not, that's okay. Remember, you can always start again. You can always grab another t-shirt, maybe from Goodwill, or somebody's going to throw some clothing away. And maybe you're going through a bag of clothing that someone's trying to offer you. And you're like, I don't think I'd wear any of this stuff, but I can take that t-shirt and I can turn it into a tote bag. And if you don't like the design on the front, you can just turn it inside out and start again with a blank slate. Maybe you can even add some puffy paint or some other cool patches or designs to make it your own creation. Get creative and see what you can come up with to repurpose things and be your own kind of repurposing engineer. I had a great time doing this activity with y'all today. I hope you had fun too. I can't wait to continue doing more of these activities with all of you. I certainly hope that you had a good time, and definitely check out discoverycube.org for information on our upcoming summer camps. There's plenty of spots still open, so look into that. I will be teaching some of those camps. So if you want to learn about animals, come check that out. I'm going to be teaching about those. And just in general, if you're looking for any more wonderful STEM content, science content, go to discoverycubeconnect.org. And that's where you're going to find that high quality, hands-on science curriculum for at the home and, of course, in your classroom as well. No matter what you do, definitely keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep discovering. See you next time. Bye, everyone.